Hello crochet friends, and welcome to G Crochet Off the Hook. We are in the craft room and I'm going to turn you around in just a second, and together let's make an Elle Buddy. Here we go. Okie dokie. So for our elephant buddy, what we would need is 2 of our elephant appliques. We'd need to have an ear facing this side and an ear on the other side. We also only need to add one little tail if you so choose. So I have now prepared this little one in cream, and what we need to do is just sandwich the two together like this, and we can single crochet, slip stitch, or sew our little elephant buddy together. So for this first one, I'm going to single crochet it together. The main takeaway point is that I have found it is best to start on the side where we have the little tail and then crochet all the way along this bottom piece first, like this, right up around to about the first or second row after the ear. That leaves us a large enough space here to put some stuffing down into the trunk, into the 2 little feet. Then we would be able to close it up a wee bit further and leave this little portion open where we would be able to finish adding the stuffing that we want and then finish it up together. So the option is to use this path of putting it together, whether you single crochet, slip stitch, or sew the piece together. But let's get going with single crocheting it together first. So a slip knot on the hook, sandwich them, the 2 pieces together, and you'll see the little ridges line up very nicely. So you are able to give yourself a reference point on where you would like to go in. And right where the tail is, I'm going to insert my hook here and the corresponding spot on the other side. Draw up a yarn tail and just slip stitch that piece on. And then I'm going to single crochet into that same spot, going through both pieces. And then just use the edge as a guide. So on these sides, it's quite easy to see the next stitches right here. And if you're holding them together, you should be able to have the partner on the other side. And then, as we usually would, just single crochet the pieces together. And then when I get down to the side where we need to change direction, I would usually just chain 1, go back into that same spot and do another single crochet. And that's what we're looking like from this side and from the other side. And then as we've made our turn, each row, just get your hook into the row. You'll actually feel there's not too much resistance. It goes nicely through. We get to another little point where we need to change direction. I'm going to just chain 1, go straight back into that spot. I've turned. I can see there's our 2 stitches from the feet into that one, into the next one, And then I put one right in the corner there. You can see that little spot there, and there's the other one. I'm just going to go right into that corner and then follow the rows again. So that's how we get past all these bottom pieces. One stitch in each row, sort of one into the corner here as we sandwich it. We have our 2 single crochets down the side here. When we change direction, just going to chain 1, go back into that same spot, and then we're able to follow the rows again. So nice and straightforward. We get to where we need to change direction, chain 1 into the same spot, and here we have our 5 single crochets, going to put one right in that corner there again, this side, bring it out that side. I pulled too hard there, one moment. in there, just single crocheting, pivot, and then we have the trunk, and there we have a guide again of taking each one of these stitches down the side of the trunk. The bottom part can be the trickiest, just one stitch at a time. Yeah, for the trunk, I most probably won't even chain 1. I'll just pivot and straight away put 1 in there, 1 on the side, no chain 1, just pivot. It gives it that round corner, and here all our stitches marry up again. So into this one, into the corresponding one on the other side, and just 1 single crochet in each stitch. We're almost at the top. No chain 1s here either, we just want it to go round. Here we can follow the rows again. One single crochet in each of the rows from the front and the back. I'm going to pause here and we can have a look. And this is how we are looking. And of course you can afterwards straighten everything a little bit if you need to, but this is how we're looking from the front. That's how our stitches look from the back. And at this point, so that we know we can get some stuffing into the trunk, I'm going to just take a wee bit here. Just use, they don't need to be too fat. Just get a little bit of stuffing in there. Use what you have on hand. And then into the little feet. A wee bit there. Put the trunk. We can put a little bit on the top of the head here. And of course all your yarn tails if you had secured them, you could also just tuck them in. Here's one from that very beginning. I'm just going to tuck it in there. And then as much or as little stuffing as you want. There's our little trunk, our head, feet. We can pick up where we left off. And again, one single crochet in each of the rows. Just sandwich them together. That comes together very nicely. And there's that little opening. Keep the tail out the way. I'll just add some more. That looks not good. Okay. Then we can just finish off a last couple of single crochets. These could have been slip stitched. These could have been how you do the fluffies on the ears. You could even put it together like that by doing a slip stitch, chain one, slip stitch, chain one. You'd have this little ruffle effect, putting the whole eddy together. There's our last little stitch. Then I'm going to just put a little tail. I'm bumping everything, sorry about that. We can thread this through. However you usually close off. And we can also hide this tail through here. I might take it to the other side. Through there. And then straight into the piece, come out anywhere. You can either put that yarn tail straight into the piece or snip it off. Whoops, throwing things around here. And there we have our little buddy Ellie. And of course, I've also seen you are able to take a wooden ring, attach another piece of yarn over here, build yourself a little tab, put your wooden ring into it, and then close it off at the back, and you would have a little mobile as well, little Ellie mobile. And that's how it looks if we single crochet it together. Slip stitch would give you a flatter edge. And then, of course, to sew, here I haven't cut off any of the yarn tails. I just leave them in there to show you that you can use it as stuffing with the stuffing. But the principle here would be the same with sewing it, is that we want to use this direction, which is to start on this side, go all the way down the bottom up to the ear. You have enough room to put stuffing into your trunk and your legs. Sew it up a wee bit further, keep the little hole open this side to finish with the stuffing, and then end with your sewing. So just a tip with the sewing is I would take my piece of yarn, don't know which direction I'm going yet, and I would just wrap it. There's one full loop, two full loops, three full loops, it may end up being a wee bit more than what you need, but always a little bit more than a little bit less. And to get started, we thread our needle as such. And what I often do is I would secure my tail right now. So I would just thread this in one direction, a couple of stitches up this side. Nothing's coming through on there. You can see there's no yarn needle showing through. And that is very secure. And then we can sandwich these two together, tuck in the yarn tails as we come across them, like such, and our piece is attached. And then you can choose to sew whatever your preferred method of sewing is. So we could whip stitch or mattress stitch. And the sewing together just gives you a different ridge around your piece. Not going to make you watch me sew the whole way around, but just so that you know how I joined my piece. It's on there, it's securely, and then we can happily whip stitch or whatever your favorite stitch is to sew it together. Just with the sewing, we don't really need to worry so much about the bottom ends, because we can just whip stitch around there. Right, I'm going to go off because this will take a wee bit longer, and whip stitch to the point where we'd start stuffing the trunk and the feet. I'll see you in just a bit. Alrighty then, so for you it would have been a few seconds. For me, this, yes, my sewing is very slow, because I think that's taken me almost 15 odd minutes. But I did start on this side sewing. I've gone all the way around, just whip stitched, and I've landed at the top over here, and that's my cue to get some stuffing into the trunk and to the bottom two legs. This is how it's looking at the back. Everything looks pretty much closed, and again we just start with a wee bit of stuffing. Use whatever's on hand. My trusty chopstick is in the lounge. Get some in there for the trunk, a wee bit into the feet. Get some into the head. There we go. Alright, so I'll leave you just for a second more. It most probably take me, I don't know, 10 minutes to get this last bit done. But I will come back and just show you what it looked like all completed when it's been whip stitched. I'll see you in a jiffy. Okay, friends, here we go. I have gone all the way around with the whip stitch for our Ellie, and for this one I'm going to just knot off this tail and hide it like that. There we go. And yes, the piece that I used to decide how much yarn did I need to sew, as you can see, was more than enough. And that is, I normally just lay down the area that I'm going to need to sew together and wrap it around 3 times, and that's what I cut off to use. Now don't forget as well, And sorry, I didn't get to put the Elle Buddy together in the elephant applique tutorial because I think it would have taken just a bit too long, and I'm pretty sure there would have been lots of editing. So here's our elephant's ears. Here's where we have whip stitched it together, and on here we can see this is where we've crocheted it together, and you can choose to put a little embroidered eye onto the piece as well. And just to get us started, if you were going to use, I think on the whip stitch elephant it might not be as easy, but if you wanted to create a tab for a mobile or for the wooden rings, just start with a slip knot on your hook. Choose one of your stitches. I would say that was round 16, so 14, about row 14. Just take one of those stitches, slip stitch to attach, and then we would just chain one and single crochet however many stitches would be good for you to add on to a wooden ring or mobile. Maybe that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and all we would do here is turn our work, chain one, and create a tab. So sort of another little flat piece, and you can go as long as you need to fit over whatever you're attaching it to. Just having the squares around me. What do I have on hand? Here's a pencil. So say it was that, I would need to do another 3 rows. I don't think I have anything slimmer on hand, but obviously if it's a wooden ring you'd most probably have to do maybe 10 back and forth. Let's just see if I can get this idea here. So far we have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's keep going. 6. Just adding this in because sometimes I just get ideas. Let's see, there we go. So this pencil would now fit. So whatever it is that you're going to loop it over, make sure that you do a long enough stretch for what it is that you need. And then I would just cut a tail. Get hold of my needle, which is still attached to the other color. Okie dokie. And then we would have not a pencil, but your wooden ring. And as we did the elephant's ear, I would just take one stitch at a time, piercing through, going straight back into the same spot, coming up the next one, grabbing the next stitch, going straight back into the same spot, and that's what I would do all the way until the piece is completely attached. And if you need to, you can always come straight out and then grab the stitch that you need. Go straight back down, come up in the last stitch, grab that stitch, go back down, there we go, and then you can just knot your ends. Let me not, because I might need to undo that, but I would just knot my end this side, hide the yarn tail, do the same with this side, and then you would also have this option. So we've put our Elle Buddy together, single crochet, slip stitch it, perhaps even do the ruffle stitch, putting it together. These give you a bit of a ridge, and if you do whip stitch all the way around, you sort of get a flatter end, and it's just on the feet, not the nose, that I do a chain one and a single crochet back into that same corner. So there we go. Well, I really hope that you guys have all had fun. Thank you so much for sharing in the little small but mighty makes. Take care.